All right, guys, here we're going to go back and see how you did with your own practice here. So we've got 3 times t equals 2/7, and we have to isolate this variable, solve for t. In order to do that, we're going to do the opposite of what's happening to t on both sides of this equal sign. I like to keep this equal sign in balance. And so we're going to divide both sides by 3 because that's the opposite of multiplying 3 times t. So of course that eliminates this over here, and all we have left is t on this side of the equal sign, which is good. That's what we want. And then on this side of the equal sign, then we have 2/7, and we're going to divide that by 3. Well, of course I know that I need to make this 3 a fraction over 1. And the process for dividing fractions, remember, is keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. So keep the first fraction the same, change the operation, flip the second fraction. So this is 2/7 times 1/3. Look for places to simplify, and I don't see any. Do my multiplication. 2 times 1 is 2. 7 times 3 is 21. And so my final answer is that t equals 2/21. So I hope you did well on that one. And I'll highlight that one so that we don't lose it. All right, next one, w divided by 4 equals 1/2. So the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. So we're going to multiply by 4 on both sides of this equal sign. That gets rid of this here, and we have w equals 1/2 times, and we'll make this 4/1. I see an opportunity to cross simplify here. 2 divides by 2 once, 4 divides by 2 twice, and 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1, so w is equal to 2. Alrighty, so that is solving equations with fractions. And then we did some order of operations work here. So down on the bottom, my first problem is 2/3 plus 1/8 times 1/9. Oh, I did that one already. Okay, you didn't have to do that one. That one was done. All right, so let's go on to 1/8 divided by 1/5 plus 1/2. All right, so 1/8 divided by 1/5 plus 1/2, no parentheses, no exponents, multiply or divide in order from left to right. So I have a division problem here. I know that I keep the first fraction, change the operation, and flip the second fraction. And so this becomes 1 times 5 is 5, 8 times 1 is 8, and now I have to add 1/2 to that. Now I can use 8 as my common denominator because 2 multiplied by 4 would give me 8. So I'm going to be adding 5/8 plus 2 times 4 is 8, so 1 times 4 is 4, and I get 9/8. That's an improper fraction. 8 divides into 9 one time with 1 left over, so 1 1/8 would be my answer there. Alrighty, and then we've got 3/4 times 1/6 plus 5/8. We are going to multiply first, and I'm looking for opportunities to simplify. I see that 6 and 3 will both divide by 3. 6 divides by 3 twice, 3 divides by 3 once. 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 2 is 8. Oh, that's nice because I have to add in plus 5/8, and I've already got a common denominator. I love that. So 5 plus 1 is 6/8. Those are both even, so I know they can both divide by 2 to simplify. And 6 divided by 2 is 3, 8 divided by 2 is 4, and so my final answer then is 3/4. All right, and then I think we had one more down here. So we've got parentheses. We know that that takes precedence then because that's our very first word in the list of operations that we do, and I kind of crowded my problem here, but we need to add 1/2 and 3/5. Now I know that 10 would be a great denominator for halves and fifths, so I'm going to change 1/2 to fifths by multiplying its denominator and its numerator by 5. So I get 5/10 for my 1/2. And then my 3/5, to change that to tenths, I'm going to multiply its numerator and denominator by 2, so that becomes 6/10. So I've got 5 plus 6 gives me 11/10. Now, normally I'd have to change that improper fraction into a mixed number, but I don't want to do that until I'm completely done working with my fractions. Next thing I need to do is take this 11/10, and I have to divide it then by the 2/9 because I haven't taken care of this part of the problem so far. The 11/10 came from that part of the problem. So I've got 11/10, and I need to divide that by 2/9. So we know it's keep, change, flip. Keep the first fraction, 11/10, change the operation to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. And so now I am ready. 11 times 9 is 99. 10 times 2 is 20. Well, that's an improper fraction, and so I need to change that to a mixed number. Well, 20 will divide into 99 4 times, and that would be 80, and that gives me 19/20 left over then. And so my final answer here then is 4 19/20. All right, so now we're going to go on to our word problems and do those last 2 word problems, see how those go. I'm going to draw a line here to separate my work from this problem and that problem so it's not so confusing. Okay, so at this restaurant here, 1 serving of chili makes 1.5 cups. The chef makes 48 cups of chili each night. How many servings of chili are in 48 cups? So we want to take our 48 cups and divide it into 1.5 cup servings. So that's a division. We're taking 48, and I'll make that 48 over 1 because we know we're dealing with fractions. And we want to divide that by 1 1/2. So we're going to take my 48 over 1, and we're going to divide that by this mixed number, but of course we need to change that to an improper fraction. So 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3/2, and then we keep, change, flip. So we've got 48, keep that first fraction, change to multiplication, flip the second one. Okay. Now 3 will divide into 48 16 times, so I'm going to do 3 divided by 3 is 1, 48 divided by 3 is 16, and now we're ready to multiply. And we get 16 times 2 is 32, 1 times 1 is 1, and so our answer is there are 32 servings in 48 cups. All right, last one. Rula bought 12 pounds of raisins. She packed them into freezer bags so that each bag weighs 3/4 pound. How many freezer bags did she pack? So we want to take our 12 pounds and divide it up into 3/4 sections. So we're going to do division here. So we've got 12 divided by 3/4. We'll make that 12 over 1. We'll keep the first one, change the operation, flip the second one. Look for opportunities to simplify. 3 divides by 3 once, 12 divides by 3 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16 over 1, and so she gets 16 bags of raisins. All right, great job, guys. We're done with our applications of fractions. We'll be getting ready for fractions test part 3, and then be done with fractions for a while. All right, good job.